Hello, 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 people of Earth. My name is Archer, and welcome to Back to the Mat, episode 12. This is a show where I, a former wrestling fan, step back into the world of pro wrestling after many years away. And essentially, this entire series is me catching up, reacting, and rediscovering everything I used to love about pro wrestling. So, if you've ever stopped watching pro wrestling, took a break from it, coming back, and have a similar experience to me, stick around, or if you just want to see someone experience it all for the first time, you know, join me. I break down SmackDown, Raw, and every single PLE. And this is the road to WrestleMania. And tonight, we're going to be talking about Monday Night Raw. Let's get into the agenda. And this is the rundown for tonight's show. Every week I decide I'm gonna do it this way, I'm gonna do it that way, and I can never, you know, settle on any one thing. And it seems like every single week I come down to the wire when it comes to this content. Like today, it's a Wednesday. It's a Wednesday, and it's far too late to even recap a Monday Night Raw. I feel like everyone already pushed out their content, and here I am, the last one to the finish line. Uh, so I feel like I say it every week, like, oh, let's do a different version of the show. Let's do this version of the show. And here I am. I got three subjects on. I got three subjects on here, and uh, yeah, it's funny. Like, I don't know where this is gonna take me. Like I said, this is me coming back to wrestling. So this is me still trying to figure out, well, what's the best listening, viewing experience for you. You know. So, by the way, let me know in the comments. How would you prefer it? Would you rather prefer me break down everything from the show, even the stuff you don't really care about hearing? Like, let's see, what do we got? The Bailey versus Lyra Valkyria, the Bailey and Lyra Valkyria versus Kabuki Warriors. I don't know if anyone honestly cares about that for me to break down, but if you do, let me know. So anyway, I'm getting into a whole thing where I'm just kind of debating how do I structure the show. Because SmackDown, I'll be honest, SmackDown, I'm winging it in terms of like, I just pick my favorite parts and I just talk about them. And it sounds like tonight is going to be a SmackDown esque themed episode where I'm just going to talk about some of the cool stuff I like. And here, look, I liked a lot of stuff from this show. It's just, I feel like there's a lot more to talk about, a lot more to discuss, a lot more things to get into uh, with these three. So, yeah. All right. Let's get into the full show, starting with the Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar segment. So, I am unbelievably excited for this match at WrestleMania. This is now becoming more and more interesting as the weeks go on, and it's not even April yet, right? We still have one more week left in March, and then a few more weeks uh, in April until WrestleMania, and it's gonna be very interesting how they move from here because so far Oba Femi has just one-upped Brock Lesnar in every single time they've met. Now this is the second time, but still, last week we got the power bomb and Brock sold it like a champ, man. This guy, it sounds like he's actually interested in this entire feud, or at least he's willing to consider putting Oba over. I don't know. Like, here's the thing. Um, I don't know if Brock is. He should put Oba over at WrestleMania. I don't know if he will because, so interestingly enough, I went on WWE's YouTube channel and they are doing this Brock Lesnar like WrestleMania marathon. And, I poked my head in a couple times. I watched a little bit here and there. And it seems like every year Brock has something going on where it feels like he's about to give someone a chance to topple him at WrestleMania, and it just never happens. You know what I mean? Well. I shouldn't say that. But it does feel like every so often, like WWE will have someone like on their radar, like, oh yeah, like let's have this person, based on, I guess, the way they look. Like, Brock is he comes out and he kind of is pictured as like this monster, this beast, right? It's and from my experience, from what I've seen, it seems like every time they think there's like a new like big guy, muscled monster, beast, whatever you want to call it, this new version or whatever the next thing that they're looking for to replace Brock, it just doesn't go that well. Like the first time I noticed it, and I really only have two examples, which is not like a which is not great for, I guess, this explanation, but I feel like two could be enough because how many alternatives could they possibly have on hand? Anyway, the first time I noticed it was Braun Strowman. So I actually was actively watching when uh, Braun Strowman, like during his first, I would say, run, because apparently he had two. I wasn't there for the second one, but I know it turned sideways because he accidentally like kneed Brock or like in the face, and then Brock actually punched him, that whole botch. So I don't know if it's because of that or whether because it wasn't the right fit, but that didn't work out. And then the other day, I'm watching the Brock Lesnar, the best of Brock Lesnar WrestleMania, and I noticed that Obafemi, no, Jesus, I should say Obafemi, no, almost, yeah, was a part of his WrestleMania match. I have no clue about this character at all, but it just seemed like it feels like maybe they were building to that, and maybe almost was supposed to win, uh, but didn't, and so almost is out. And now we have Obafemi, and I know little to nothing about this guy. But what I do know is that Brock is actually like caring about this. Like the way he sold that power bomb last week was great, And then this week, this week like his facial expressions, his body language, the fact that he was like, "Oh my god!" Like the look of like this guy's bested me twice already. Like what is going? Like I can't. I tried to pick him up, I couldn't do it, and now like he threw me over the top rope, and he didn't just throw Brock like over. He like Brock like twisted, turned. Look at that photo. He turned all around. This is this is very abnormal, and I don't even think this is this type of manhandling has ever happened before, where you kind of see Brock on the side of just like you know just getting tossed around. And I look, there's stories that if Brock really likes to work with you, um, he'll make it work. He'll sell for you. He'll do the whole 9 yards, this and that. You know, he liked AJ. His matches with AJ were great. I wasn't there for the Drew McIntyre, but apparently, you know, he likes Drew. The match went well. Drew became champion at WrestleMania, so that's not something to take lightly. Take lightly. But yeah, the only question now is, does it actually manifest into a win for Obafemi? And I don't. I have no idea. This could just be like a whole, oh, Brock's selling, he's doing well in terms of like, selling that this guy's a real threat to him, and then WrestleMania comes around and he just squashes him. Or, they have like a 10, 20 minute whatever match, goes back and forth, but in the end Brock is Brock Lesnar and he wins. Because I don't know so much about Oba and his like mic skills and this and that, I here's the thing. I think he should win at WrestleMania because I don't know like how long Brock is planning on being here, but it seems like he really like has taken a liking to Oba. Like there was a scene from last week where you could hear or at least see Brock mouth the words like, "Hey, put your foot on my chest," and I'm like, that's a that's a boss move, man. Telling someone, "Hey, put your foot on my chest." Wow. And then watching this week play out, I'm like, geez, he's really going for it. He's really taking this one act like very seriously. So yeah, the real question is, does Oba go over at WrestleMania? I hope so. Um, this should be very interesting. Eh, it would do more. The win would do a lot more for Oba, but the problem is I don't even know anything about the guy, so he could just be horrible in the ring, and I wouldn't even know because I don't. He's just squashing people left and right. The Johnny Gargano thing didn't really tell me much. Like you kind of need more data to go off of, but man, I think if you're trying to build someone up, just do it. Just do it, dude. Fandango beat Chris Jericho at WrestleMania. I mean, give it to him. Like what? Like give it to him. It's fine. Um, Brock's maybe gonna be here for a while, maybe not, but Oba losing so early on, right off the cusp of like this WrestleMania match, or I would say this WrestleMania like opportunity. Eh, it's a good head start, beating Barack Lesnar. What could go wrong? There's nowhere to go but up. So yeah, give it to Oba. This segment was great. Do I have anything else to say about this? Let me see. Oh yeah, that shirt he's wearing, FAF5, it's probably the worst shirt that they've made of Brock Lesnar. I like this is a small gripe that no one probably cares about, but man, that doesn't even like really make any sense because FAF it the thing is Paul played it as FAFO, and I'm like it doesn't really roll off the tongue when you read FA5. It sounds like FAFSA. Like I looked at him like, is that say FAFSA on it? And I'm like, oh no, the letter's not there. There's a missing letter. But yeah, that's a horrible piece of merch. WWE, I don't understand why they just slap anything on there. The only stuff that actually looks good or works sometimes is when the wrestlers themselves put something out there and it just like it's a it's like a happy or a mistake that just turned into profitability. Like who remembers ah Suplex City? When did he say it? He said it I think he said it at WrestleMania. Yeah. He said it at WrestleMania against Roman. He said, "Welcome to Suplex City, bitch." I was like, "Oh shit!" The mic picked it up, and then the next day he's wearing like every. That was perfect, by the way, and a great job on the marketing team or like whoever was handling that because every city he went to, it was Suplex City, and I'm like, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Boston, Suplex City, Suplex City. I'm like, that was printing money. This is a piece of hot garbage that just I'm like, all right, like sell it. All right, put it on put anything goes on a shirt, anything goes on a shirt at this point. But yeah, I think those are all my notes for. Oh, yeah, that's really all I wanted to talk about in terms of this Brock Lesnar segment. Does Brock get one over on Oba next week? Next week's Madison Square Garden, the Mecca. Does Brock make his presence known? Like, like, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I think Brock does get the upper hand at least once. We'll see what the clash looks like around at the Mecca. So yeah, let's move on to the Becky Lynch and AJ Lee segment because I've got a lot to say. Well, I always say that, but let's get into it. It's surprising how suddenly this became so interesting. Like this storyline uh, is pretty basic when you look at it, but the delivery uh, in their promos and everything is really what's selling this match at WrestleMania for me. Because I'll say this, I'm not really a fan of either of them. Not like, oh, I hate them and this and that. No, it's not. It's just like I don't like. Prior to this segment, I just looked at it going, all right, they're obviously gonna meet at WrestleMania, but there isn't really much of an interest. There's nothing for me to bite into to like, and I'm like, oh, this is exciting. It was like, okay, this is happening. And after this promo, I can't wait. You know why? Because I don't know what's going on with the world titles. But I don't care. Um, the Liv Morgan thing is a little interesting with Stephanie Vaquer. It's interesting, but it's not really grabbing my attention. Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley, I could care less. That could be anywhere. I could care less. I don't care. Like now they're like adding new characters into this. Okay, fine. Still don't care. Becky came back last week. She came back last week. Not really an official like stamp that she's kind of back in the sense of like a promo or anything. She just kind of like interrupted or like released. What's that word I'm looking for? I'm flaking here. What's going on? What's that word? Interfered. There you go. Interfered. She interfered in a world in the Intercontinental Championship title fight. And now this week she cuts this promo, and it is quite a promo. I mean, I was hooked, and I just was like, wow, this sold me. I'm ready. I'm ready to watch what happens next week. I'm ready to see how this unfolds and where this goes. There's many more weeks, like I said, to WrestleMania, and this one promo, this one segment of how everything kind of played out, loved it. Like, let's bring. You know what? I'll tell you my favorite line from the from Becky's promo. Okay, she was talking about, oh, I went away. You know, I went away. I took a couple months off to be with the family, to be with the people who appreciate me, this and that. And then I came back, right? He's like, I came back and I didn't go for the world titles. No, I went for the Intercontinental title. And I turned that title into the most important thing, most interesting thing, most represented women's title in all of wrestling. It's a bit of a stretch, okay? And I am damn proud of that title. And I am damn proud of what it represents. I love that title. I made that title, but now I have to watch as AJ prances around like she deserves that title. That is an amazing line. I mean, it like you know, coming back, right? I I'll be honest. One of the things I noticed is a lot of the titles, all of the titles except for maybe one, got changed, like visually on the eye. Like, oh wow, now they have an intercontinental uh, title and a U.S. title and for the women's. The designs have changed. All these things. I'll be honest, man. Sometimes I forget that AJ Lee has the intercontinental title. In my mind, I was like, oh, Becky won the women's title, and she lost it to AJ. And I have to be like reminded sometimes that like no, this is like a mid card title. This isn't like this title is not gonna main event WrestleMania. It's gonna be at the kind of like at the lower mid card level where it's supposed to be. But the fact that Becky is like pointing this out, she's like, "Look, I came back, but I didn't come back for the main event title. I came back for something smaller, and look what I did with it. It reminded me. And I keep going back to like that Miz promo. I did it like was it like 2 weeks ago or last week or something like that, where the Miz, he had a talking smack segment, and he goes, "I made that title the most prestigious title in all of WWE." And look at Becky, she's doing the same thing. I don't mind it. It's similar. I said same, but it's similar. That's what I meant. I meant it's similar, and I love it because it's like true, almost to an extent, right? She's like, look, she says, I made that title the most important, the most interesting, the most represented women's title in all of wrestling. That is like I said, that last one is a little bit of a stretch, but it's like, oh my God, she's taking all this like passion and all this energy, and she really cares about this title, and it's really what you make of it, and that's kind of what she's done. She's like, I already won the world title. But let me take this lesser and make it something memorable. Let me make it something that people are going to care about. And that's kind of what happens sometimes with, dude, I for a beat there, I was like thinking, like, who is the U.S. women's? Oh, it's Julia. Okay, like it took me a beat to figure that out. I was like, oh, it took like in my brain, it took longer than it should have. You know what I mean? And Becky kind of doing this promo and saying all these words, I'm like, wow, it's not just like a line. It's kind of like, yeah, she means it and it's true. Like it's actually like I care. Out of all of the women's feuds that are kind of going on right now, this is the only one I actually care about. And it's not even because of AJ Lee. Like if you swap out AJ Lee for anyone else in this, I'm like I still care because I feel like Becky's doing all the work. And man, she's such a good heel. Oh my God, she wasn't. When I was there, she was not a heel. I don't think she'd ever even gone through that phase, you know, and it was good. Like watching this, I'm like, it's good. I've seen like heel Becky promos, and I never really bought into it. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Now I'm buying into it. Now I'm like, I get it. I see why people like her so much. I see why people are so invested, you know. And this was great. I loved it. She was saying like, "Hey, look, I had to watch my daughter sing that stupid Light It Up song while she was skipping around the house." And I'm like, this is amazing. You know, even when she like comes out, even when AJ comes out to the ring and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna hit her. I'm gonna go after her." And Becky just slides out of the ring and she cuts the promo in the crowd area, and I'm like, this is great. You know, I like it when I like it when things roll over outside the ring. I've mentioned this in the past episodes, and it's like I don't think everything should be taking place in the ring. I love the backstage segments. I love the fact that half this promo was taking place. But I don't know to what extent half is it. A portion of this promo was taking place in the ring. They had a little like scurry away, and then like Becky took the promo into the crowd, and I'm like, I'm loving this. You know, it's like the little things that most people probably don't care about. I am like, I'm eating this up. You know, I'm eating this up. And I love that line. She said it like, oh, the Sports Illustrated says it. The Bleacher Report said it. I'm like, oh, she's got that line. It's great. It's not even overused, at least not to me, but I love it, you know. And it's great. Let me see. Do I have anything else? I know I'm like skipping AJ's full promo here, and to be honest, it was okay. I I thought it was fine. She did the whole, yeah, I'm gonna I'm gonna give you what you want. Of course, your daughter, she likes my song, she likes my dance, this and that. Of course, that's why I am, your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler, and apparently your daughter's as well. This night, okay, yeah, it was all right. It was all right. And he said, at the end, she caps it off with AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch for the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania. And Becky's response is, "Oh, you skipped right into my trap, you dope." And I'm like, it's such a good line. Like, it's so simple, it's so like thing, but it's like, yeah, yeah. The whole reason I'm saying all this is because I want the match at WrestleMania. And look at you, you just fell into it. You just took the bait, didn't you? And I'm like, oh, this is great. And then, and this is something. I love it when wrestlers kind of think outside of the what like the normal promo structure. It's like, I don't like you, I'm gonna beat you up, and I'm gonna take this away from you, and see. And Becky was like, in the crowd, she goes, you know, she said something along the lines of, you know, you can shine on Monday through Friday, any given week, but WrestleMania, that's my domain. That's where I'm the man. And she goes, wait a second, wait a second. I remembered the last time you competed at WrestleMania 11 years ago. She goes back 11 years. She's like, what happened the day after? Right. You skipped into the office and you handed in your resignation. And we didn't hear from you for a decade. Oh my god, the amount of like she went deep into this. She had to go back. She's like, all right, what happened to this woman the last time she was here? What was like the relation to WrestleMania? Okay, what was the story going on there? And she kind of like is like refreshing her mind of, hey, the last time you were here, things didn't go well for you, did it? Did it? You know, you gave up on the business. You went away for a decade. Congratulations, you're back with the title, but look at you now, right back in the WrestleMania picture. And here's what's gonna happen: I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna take that, and you're gonna run back. You're gonna run back home. Is essentially what she's saying, right? And I'm like, wow, this is great. Because she does say, she said, I'll save you the trouble. I will end you, and we will never hear from you again. Welcome to the big time. Woo! I. This is exciting. This is exciting. Am I suddenly being converted into a Becky Lynch fan? Let me tell you something. Like I said, I was never a fan. When she got her face bloodied up by Nia Jackson with that SmackDown T-shirt and everything, everyone just, whoa, this Becky Lynch is amazing. I wasn't on board. This I'm on board. This is exciting. This is, I, I can't wait. I can't wait to see how this goes. And I know I'm praising Becky more than AJ here, but man, it kind of goes to show like you do need two to tango. Yeah, that is true. But this is good. This is good enough. AJ doesn't have to like impress me It just has to push the story along, and this is wonderful. I'm excited. Are you excited? All right, let's get into. I don't know if this is exciting. I was gonna segue into maybe it's exciting, maybe it's not. How do I frame this? The Usos, Roman Reigns, and CM Punk, the Tribal Chief and the best in the world. Um, let's see. How do we? This is way too big of a pause. To be honest with you, this was okay. This was, I think, the filler episode for whatever escalation is gonna happen next week at MSG. It's the only thing. I'll say this: the only thing I really liked about this segment was the fact that Jey Uso is seemingly like coming out of his comfort zone. It seems, and apparently this like hothead Jey Uso is something people have already seen before. I'm loving it. I'm loving it because I don't really get Jey Uso that much. I'm like, all right, yeet, cool. And it's funny like seeing Punk in the promo. He's like, you what are you gonna do? You gonna yeet me to death? And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of what he does, right? Like he just like yeah. And all of a sudden, he's kind of unlocking this new door, and apparently it's just old Jey Uso who's just been in a box recently. So look, this whole promo, this whole segment, whatever you want to call it, it was okay. It's nice. It's pushing the story along. It's not really getting me to finally go. This is what I needed. This is what I needed to see on both sides because now I'm fully invested. I am partially invested. I'm interested in this feud, but I'm waiting for them to just go, okay, here's a taste. Oh, sorry. You've now been given a taste, but here it is. Here's the thing that's just gonna make you go, now that's what I needed, right? I was talking about in the Becky Lynch promo, like I'm already prepared for that match. I'm like, just give it to me now. Like the dude, just come on. I'm waiting for that with this, and you know, we'll see. But in terms of what happened on this episode, yeah, Punk was really leaning into this whole "I'm an old man" thing, and it's fine. I I get it. Like I will say, it was pretty funny. He's like, "Am I old?" And they're all chanting yes, and he kind of realized like, "Oh, this is not where." I think he was hoping for them to go the other way or something, just not like agree. Like, yeah, man, you're old. And he kind of did the whole, "I'm proud to be old. There's nothing wrong with being old and this and that." He's like, "Yeah, I'm old. Am I ashamed of it? Hell no." And I'm like, okay. I feel like a different reaction would have from the crowd would have turned it into something else, but it's fine. It's fine. It's all right. I don't know why we haven't gotten a Met Larry mention yet. I feel like this is. You know what? We don't need it. How about that? I feel like Roman's doing all right. He's gonna have to pull out something pretty big next week. Oh, gee. Um, but I'm. I feel like in all these segments that have been happening, Punk has just been the one getting the best of him on the mic. I feel like every single time I'm listening, I'm like, wow, Punk is just drowning him because I I don't know, man. Like, just I'm not buying this Roman. I feel bad for Roman to an extent where I'm like, yeah, he said something about your dad, and you're just not really gonna do anything. You're not gonna like really, y- retaliate with aggression. It just feels like you're just kind of going along with it. And you were poking up last week. Oh, let me talk about his wife. Let me talk about his wife, this and that. And then he mentioned the old thing, and that got him dropped. He got dropped by an old dude. Dude, he cannot lose at WrestleMania because if he loses at WrestleMania, the whole thing is you've been calling this guy old, you've been calling this guy slow, you've been calling him ugly. He's like, you're not better looking than me, and then you lose to that guy. Hmm, it's not it's not gonna it's not gonna go well. So the tribal chief has to win. You know, this is I like the addition of the Usos. Um, I'm not entirely sure like I'm seeing things online where everyone's like, "Hey, the Bloodline's coming back together," and if that happens, whoa, we're gonna get like this amazing like thing that we used to have before. Like, here's the thing. Apparently, this, from what I know, this Bloodline storyline or whatever you want to call it was like peak Roman Reigns, and I just missed it. Just poor timing on my part. And apparently, people are like, "Oh, they're bringing it like back," kind of. Is what I'm sort of hearing. Right? That would be nice. I feel like getting a glimpse, a taste of what Jey Uso was like before, this whole Bloodline storyline resurfacing again. I'm excited for that, but I'm gonna need a little more on the Roman side because I don't. I'm like, dude, I feel like you're holding back, or something is off, or like it's it's not fully sticking, you know. And I don't even know what the solution really is. I truly don't, because it feels like Punk is just poking and just making fun of him, like just playing with his food with Roman. I feel, and him and his family. Like what was it, 2 weeks ago? He's like, "Oh, your brother's coming in a little hot to Jimmy," because he's like, "Yo, man, you gotta like Jimmy." Jay's just kind of getting in his face, like, "Oh, your brother's coming in a little hot," and then this week he goes, "What are you gonna do? You gonna eat me to death?" And I'm like, this guy is just like smug, careless, and just being like, "I'll say whatever I want to say," and I'm like, dude, Roman's got to pick up the pace. He's got to do something. Now, throwing him through this whole announce table here was something, but it was like built on aggression because at the end of the day, Punk had the last laugh. Roman was about to leave that ring. He was like, all right, see ya. And then he just heard like, "Hey, Joe, go get him. Go get him." And then it kind of just built up into this aggression that just speared him, hit him against the post, and then threw the body, this old body of CM Punk on the announce table. And at the end, Punk just laughing. He's like, haha. He's selling like, yeah, I kind of got hurt and everything. But at the end, he's like, he got the last laugh. And, you know, I don't know. I'm just waiting for Roman to really get him good where it's like, dude, you're gonna all this trash you've been talking, all this little bits and pieces of disrespect to my family and me, and all these little things. This shit's gonna add up, and I'm waiting for that promo from Roman that's gonna just implode Punk. Because calling someone old is like, I'm like, yeah, okay, that's fine, but the dude said he's gonna bury you next to your dad. You gotta. I'm saying the same thing over and over in different ways. I understand, but essentially, you get the message I'm trying to say. I do like the fact, and I don't really know what to make of this. Um, that Roman has this like presence about him where he goes, like he tells the Usos like, your tag team match tonight, you know, and what happened? He's like, oh, you lost. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. He didn't say you lost. He's like, and it's done now, right? He's like, yeah. He's like, I'm gonna say this as respectfully as I can. Get your brother and leave my ring. He said my ring. He didn't say the ring. He didn't say a ring. He didn't say the people's ring. He said my ring. And what is like? And Punk, dude, the snarkiness of this whole thing. He says, I think he should stay. He needs the help. And I'm like, look, I like this. Like, I I like whatever's about to happen with this Roman Reigns Jey Uso story or Roman Reigns and this bloodline story. I'm starting to like it. I feel like Jimmy and Jay are like how do I say this? I feel like Jimmy is having a good promo run. Like I feel like I'm taking him more seriously now. Like I listen to his promos from like when they first asked Punk to like, hey, you need to apologize. Like, and he was being serious and he was being authentic. He was kind of like, you could really feel the emotions. And Jay is now like, he didn't yeet to the ring. He didn't, do all this stupid dance and shit. He didn't come out of the crowd and da 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 da. No, bro, he like dead on looked at Punk, be like, I'm taking this seriously, and I'm like, yeah, like this is great. This is kind of what I want to see. I don't want to see this yeet guy. And let me see if I could pull something from a Jay this Jay Uso promo. Uh, you know what? I li- I like. Okay, here we go. Let's read this out, shall we? So, you know, the they kind of come out and he goes, I don't care about the tag team championships right now, Uso. And his brother goes, look, I need you to really lock in here. Listen to me, listen to me. You leave him to the OTC, all right? And honestly, we ain't got nothing to do with this. We got nothing to do with him. Sorry, that was my fault on me. Uh, he's like, oh, dude, and Jay's like, this, he got everything to do with this. You know, all this fool do is walk around, talk shit about the family. Now, matter of fact, where is Roman? I'm like, he is seeing what we're seeing. At the end of the day, it's like, why didn't Roman come out? Like, I feel like Jimmy and Jay were like, just at the end, I'm like, why isn't Roman just taking care of this? Why isn't he handling this all himself? It's always Jimmy and Jay come out, they say their thing, and then Roman comes out, and then it ended in this culmination this week of getting put through a table, and I'm like, I feel like Roman has to take that position of I'm gonna handle this myself instead of all right, let them go out and then I go out and I'll tell them to leave my ring and I'll say my 2 cents or whatever and yeah, look, Roman just needs to do something next week. That's all. I'm gonna leave it at that. I feel like I've said way too much about this. Um, and there's a street fight next week, so that should be fun. Yeah, that's about it. I feel like I'm interested in this storyline. I'm interested in where the Usos are going to be positioned in terms of where they fit in with Roman Reigns and the Bloodline story. God, I hope The Rock doesn't come back. Oh, God. everyone was saying this new version of The Rock, this final boss thing is like what a rebrand or rebrand, what a rebrand of a character, what a new version of The Rock this is, that it's actually compelling or like something different. But I really don't want to see him back. I truly don't. And with that being said, that was tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw. Well, not tonight. It was This was Back to the Mat episode of Monday Night Raw. There's three segments that caught my interest. Um, Maybe I should leave all the miscellaneous extra stuff at the end of the show. Like I said, I'm working through this. I'm trying to see what works, what doesn't, what sticks, what needs to be kicked out. Um, let me run through the sheet here. Good lord, who wants to talk about that? Sorry. Uh, Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins had a thing. Sure. Okay. Let's talk about it. I like the fact that Paul Heyman came back. I like the fact that he's acknowledging, like, look, this is not going well for me. Brock is so pissed he left the arena. Logan Paul, he says Logan Paul is half unconscious, and Austin Theory is half conscious. Oh my god. And then he's like, that just leaves me. Where do I fit in? And he kind of baits Seth Rollins out. He kind of draws him in, and Seth comes through the crowd. I don't know why he's still wearing the goddamn mask, by the way. I'm like, dude, we just walk out. Who cares? What are you hiding for? And at the end, he did get caught. Like that's the funniest thing ever. Like he did get caught. They hooked, they got him in cuffs and everything, and they're just like, well, we're just gonna take you out. And Paul has that like line. He's like, men in my family are snitches. We file restraining orders with the courts. We file lawsuits. You know, and he starts talking about the life that Seth Rollins is gonna have. You're going to jail. You're going to prison. And when you go to prison, you're gonna become a felon. Your wife will divorce you. He's going through the whole gutter. He's going through the whole stages of what happens to what happens to people when, not like everyone, but like what happens to uh, those who go to jail and prison, and the cycle or the pattern that a lot of them follow, which is, you're in there for a long time, your kids forget you, you're labeled as a felon, your significant other moves on, right? He says divorce, you know. I don't know. He threw in she married half, and she's married to half the locker room. That was a crazy line. I was like, all right, shit. And then he gets into like, his children, and he's like, someone is gonna call child protective services for your daughter, and don't worry, I, Paul Heyman, will adopt your daughter. I'm like, Jesus Christ. So she doesn't go through life knowing that her father was a felon. I was like, what the hell? This guy is crazy. But makes for good TV. And makes for good TV. Does he show up next week? Does Seth Rollins show up next week? I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't think so. He should. Realistically, it's MSG. He comes out. Really, it's a restraining order, but now that he's handcuffed, I don't know where that takes us. But it's quite interesting. And also, to be honest, what is this all leading towards? He's not facing Brock at Mania. What is the Seth Rollins road to WrestleMania with a non-competing Paul Heyman look like? Because Paul last week he said, I'm not, he would beat me. This is not gonna end up with a match at WrestleMania. He kicked my ass. Was it? Yeah. And so, ah, what else do we got on the card? What else do we got for the night? Let's keep moving. This will be the I'll make this the miscellaneous stuff for the night. Let's see. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? I feel like I'm missing something. No? Man, these are things I truly don't want to talk about. Yikes. Good lord. You know what? The Penta, no, the Dominic Mysterio versus Finn, Jesus. The aftermath of the Dominic Mysterio versus Penta fight where Finn Balor comes out. It was a pretty good match. It was fine. It was alright. I'm glad that Finn Balor has something of significance heading into WrestleMania, to be honest. Um, it doesn't seem it it feels like for years from my eyes that Balor has just never gotten anywhere truly close to having us believe that he will ever win the title back, the world title back. And he's always just been stuck in this limbo, it seems. Like even when I left, he was going nowhere. He won the Universal title. My God, what an ugly name. And got hurt, relinquished it, and just never came close to getting it back. Like not in a believable way where you're like, oh wow, he has a chance. Like I know he faced Punk at the Chamber for the title, but like he's not winning that. It would have been an interesting turn if he did, but because of how close WrestleMania is, because of the drawing power of CM Punk, I was like, no, that would be a bold move and a mistake for ticket sales. Fun for us to see how that pans out. Not fun for the stakeholders. Mm, right. So now he's in this with Dominic Mysterio, and I don't know how many of these storylines Finn has had in the past. Meaning, like, Dominic Mysterio is clearly an amazing heel, a great talent, great on the microphone. But is this going to end up into something significant for Finn Balor? Or is he just going to get, a, or are we just going to get a really fun match and he loses at the end? And he's kind of like, well, we just go, well, that's another Finn Balor, you know, match that delivered, but progression in his story career kind of just plateaus, right? So that's really what I'm thinking about. In all likeliness, Dom kind of beats him at WrestleMania, but let's see because you know they're warming up to the idea. I say they're warming up, but clearly this is what the direction is. They're gonna face. So let's see. Let's see what happens. We got a few weeks to go. What else we got? I think that's about it. It's what's funny. This felt like such a long episode, and I don't know why. I don't know why. It shouldn't have. It shouldn't have felt like a long episode. Because as I'm going through it, I'm like, things happened here and there. Cool, fine, it's all right. Anyway, let's move on to what's next, and that's the show, folks. That's the show. I feel like every week I have a different format, a different way, or something. Something that I always say that I'm like, oh, I SmackDown, I break it down like this. Raw, I break it down like this. And then the next week, I just change it all up. And I'm not really sure what direction is best for you guys. Like, how would you like me to structure this? How would you like to watch these videos, to be honest with you? That's kind of what I'm looking for. Like, I can, if you guys truly want me to break down the show bit by bit, fine. I don't know if that's going to be an enjoyable listen, watching me get all angry and cranky about about some of these ridiculous storylines. But yeah, do let me know like what do you look for in these types of videos? I know like I am probably I don't even I don't know if I'm the only person making this type of series where it's like, oh hey, I'm coming back to wrestling. But from a person, Jesus Christ, from my unique perspective, is there anything that you would want to hear or like a I could bring in a segment. I could introduce a segment into the show. Just let me know. Write it in the comments below. Oh yeah, please like, subscribe, and oh yeah, comment below, and also share this video. Drop your theories of what you think is gonna happen on SmackDown, because that's what I'm gonna be covering next. I'm gonna be covering Friday Night SmackDown, and I've mentioned format. And if you're new here, the format for SmackDown is essentially kind of what this is. I just pick my favorite parts and just dive right in. Just dive right in and just talk about it until I run out of breath, ideas, or my brain just sort of shuts off. Meh, that's it. So yeah, we got Cody Rhodes. What is he gonna say this week? I have yet to watch the Pat McAfee clip. I think it has already happened. So Cody has said something. I don't know what he said, but he's definitely showing his face on SmackDown, and we're gonna cover it. We're gonna cover it. You know, we're gonna get into all that good stuff. And who do you think's on the phone? At the end of the day, I think it's Bob Orton. I think that's the easiest fish to catch. But some are saying Shane. I don't even know why. They're saying it's because of the line, there's more than one royal family. And I'm like, cool, but what does Shane have to do with this? Like, I don't, and how are they gonna frame it in such a way that it makes sense? So, yeah, excited to see what SmackDown turns into. This Drew McIntyre, uh, Jacob Fatu thing. It's amazing. I love the backstage just arguments that they're just having. God, not arguments, but like they're just fighting backstage at random intervals of the night. It's so fun. Does Miz finally cave in and mentor Danhausen? Is that what's gonna happen? I don't know. We're gonna find out. He's getting unlucky. Why? Because he's cursed. Anyway, this has been episode 12 of Back to the Mat. Yours truly, Archer, and I will see you on the next one. All right. Have a good night, y'all.